Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by a whole bunch of people in both Discord and G+. We've got Righteous Force, 10th Man, Flatzoid and Chocolate Sane. How are you all doing?
Doing good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Having to do all manual transitions, so if everything seems a bit sluggish, it's because I'm doing everything manually. So we're also joined by a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all of you in the Discord server. Good to have you all.
Hello, nice to be here.
Good to have you all. Now, whether or not you guys are aware, Sleeping Warrior released a video earlier this morning, maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. I'm not exactly sure of the time when he released that, but I'm going to actually play it to you guys. So I don't know if you guys in the Discord server can manage to keep yourselves on mute as you do share a line, so please don't rumpus Anthony's video if you don't mind. Let's see. Here we go. Let's make it a little bit pretty.
This is where you were taught you lived when you went to school. This is where I thought I lived until I was about 36. I'm now 39, and I know that I do not live here. This is a simple question. A simple answer is required. For all you ballers that think and preach your religion like it's true. The ball we see has an atmosphere around the outside. However, the vacuum of space is a zero value. We are told that we've got 14.7 psi at sea level, and we're told that the vacuum of space is 10 to the minus 17 torr, otherwise known as zero. It's not quite zero, who cares? It's still zero. We're told that we've got gas pressure that we breathe, and we can walk outside and we can observe that there is indeed gas pressure. It exists in the vacuum of space. Let's have a quick comparison of how we can create almost a vacuum on Earth, but let's look at the container that's required to do it. This is NASA's Research Center Plum Brook Station in Sandusky, Ohio. It's the world's largest vacuum chamber. It houses a massive 100-foot diameter and 122 feet tall structure, and is capable of getting almost to the vacuum of space. I want you to look at the level of fortification that this thing has. Look at the strength and the depth of the concrete and the supports and the surroundings of this environment to separate the Earth's atmosphere of 14.7 from the atmosphere that's in there. A vacuum that's not quite space, but it's not that far from space. In actually fact, it's miles away from the vacuum of space, but it's the closest that we can get in creating a vacuum that they claim is comparable to space. Look at the container that the vacuum chamber is. Look at it. Look at how fortified and how strong it is. All the concrete, all the steel. That membrane is what's required to separate the vacuum of space, which would be inside, from the pressure that we breathe outside. Bear that material barrier in mind when you're thinking about the Earth in space. It's the exact same, but it's the opposite way around. The Earth is the pressure and the vacuum of space is the alternative, but there's no barrier. It's an open system. I've tried asking ball earthers who push their religion onto us like it's a fanatical truth. How can we have gas pressure without a container? They seem to think it's okay to say, but we have a gradient, it disperses to nothing. Well, the gradient itself is still gas pressure. How do we have gas pressure, which includes a gradient, without a container? Gravity is the weakest of the forces, but we know that gravity is not a force. We know it's an effect that we think we perceive.
Newton had various ideas on this, but generally it's thought that Newton did not take his own law that literally, that there is a force reaching from one object out to another. However, you can act as if there were one. We can and do, and we must think of Newtonian gravity as a force. That doesn't mean it really is, but now we don't necessarily need to work at the really is level.
There's no science for gravity, but we all believe it apparently. Straightforward question, guys. How do we have gas pressure next to a vacuum without a container? Not just that, gravity isn't your answer, because we know it's not a force. It's an open system that doesn't give you a container. So, what is the answer?
FTFE. How does a pressurized system exist next to a vacuum?
Gravity, you fucking retards. Gravity. Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity. Gravity!
Nobody seems to be able to give an answer. And when they do, it's met with just ridicule. This is what happened on Nathan's show yesterday, when I tried to ask that same question and listen to the answer that
I just want to know how you defend your position when you know that you need a container for gas pressure.
Well, I asked Sleeping Warrior, what does he think the shuttle is? That's a container for the gas pressure, is it not?
So how do we have gas pressure in the first place if there's no container around Earth? That's his question. You've dodged it 3 times.
There is no container around the Earth.
We know.
Okay, so if you're saying that the gas would fill the space, have you actually tried?
It's called the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy would increase. It's a natural law. I don't say it. It's a natural law. It's called the second law of thermodynamics.
Not if you have a pressure gradient. There is no...
That's bollocks! It's bollocks. You can't have a pressure...
Wow.
Go ahead. Actually, this is where I step back.
Ends.
Everyone else, this is where Anthony gets the reins back. Go ahead, Anthony.
How do you have the pressure gradient in the first place without the containment?
Oh, you're a pseudoscientist. Until you give me the details of your egg experiment, then nothing you can say.
No, you haven't addressed the natural law that is the second law of thermodynamics, which would dictate that entropy would increase and the gas would fill the available volume. Now, in your religion of a marble in a vacuum, the gas would fill that space. That's the end of this argument, not addressed by Highlander, just rumpused when it gets to the conclusion that we admirably demonstrate, or in this instance, Sleeping Warrior admirably demonstrates that we've got fundamentalist religious zealots who will circle jerk us around and just assert straw men about gradients. You can't have gas pressure gradients without a container. It's a delta of gas pressure. First you have gas pressure, then you have a gas pressure gradient. The gas would still fill the space without a container. It's not an address to the argument. He hasn't addressed the argument, and Anthony summarised it beautifully before we went on this merry dance with me getting my blood pressure up, rather than Anthony. No, circle-jerking assholes. You've got to address the fact that it's a violation of a natural law. It's not backed by experiments and natural law.
What's the answer to my question, Highlander?
I've excluded him. He's just going to circle jerk you and tell you about pressure gradients, which is a delta of the question you've asked. Doesn't address your question about where you get gas pressure from. He never will address it. He won't get gas pressure from a containerless system in a vacuum. So he's just got to rumpus and talk through us, and I'm tired of it. He's had 2 or 3 opportunities. That's the end.
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Gravity!
Well, whatever definition of gravity this guy is referring to, we know that it's not the cause of the gas pressure that we breathe. Perhaps this guy can help us, because it doesn't seem that any of the trolls on Flat Earth, on the Ball Earth side, can help. So maybe this guy can help us.
Yeah, I think people that first encounter Flat Earth, they all say, well, I once believed that it was a stupid idea, but I tried to refute it and I couldn't. Well, that's because you didn't go to the right sources. You went on the internet and you heard these arguments from Flat Earthers that you couldn't answer.
Yeah.
That's because you didn't know the answers. I know the answers. I haven't encountered an argument yet I couldn't refute but on Flat Earth. But at any rate...
So, if you know all the answers, Danny Falconer, perhaps you could help me with this one, because I'm struggling. How do we have gas pressure, brackets, that includes the gradient, close brackets, on Earth, next to the vacuum of space, without a barrier, or a membrane, or a dome of some kind? It defies the second law of thermodynamics. Please, Danny, what's the answer?
Cool, very good stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, excellent video.
Good job, Anthony.
Where did you get that guy? That gravity moron. What was that?
QE's had it out, that guy, several years ago. If it's the same guy we were talking about yesterday, I believe it is. And took him to the woodshed over email. So he's lying if he thinks that flat earthers aren't addressing his queries. He's been smashed by Quantum Eraser. So there's wheels have been put in motion to
I think he was talking about the other guy that looked like Sam Kinison who was yelling about gravity.
Yeah, that one.
Of course. My bad. I should have gone lower brow than I did.
The other man was interesting too. It was funny how eloquently he was trying to convey, you just don't understand.
Right, let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Austria.
Not from Alaska.
Gnome from there.
About axial rotation. Any evidence of axial rotation?
Axis of what?
No,
Earth.
not on Earth. Not for
Earth, right?
Yeah,
not for Earth.
For Earth. Axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. Is that what you're fishing for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not for Earth, but the ballers have been throwing each other under the bus because of that question.
Yeah. Yeah, Earth is not a record baby either.
No. They throw each other under the bus because that's the only place they see axial rotation.
You say Earth is not a record baby?
Yes, I did.
Like a record baby, right round, round, round.
Exactly. You got it.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
I think Anthony's video demolished that, huh?
I think he's more
Yeah, we
focused
just heard my favorite quote from Mr. George Musser talking about how we can and we do and we must consider Newtonian gravity as a force. Doesn't really mean it is one, but we don't necessarily have to work at the really is level.
Right.
Yeah,
Ballers.
Priceless.
But he was basically dictating what to fantasize about it, because he said, yeah, it is conceptual, but if you're gonna think about it, this is how you must do it. Isn't that just weird?
Yes, it's like the wizard pulling his trick out of his hat, saying, "Yes, gravity is a force. You will believe it's a force. It is legion."
No, but he disclaims that it actually is a force, but he said, yeah, if you're going to think about it, not on the really is level, then you have to think of it as a force. That's literally what he said, all in all.
Why? So you could do math on it? It's the only reason you would think of it as a force, because it works in force concepts. He says that in the interview. Force concepts. What does that mean?
Made up.
Right? Yeah. There you go, guys.
Hello.
Chocolate, that really is a good point.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No way.
Nope, nothing.
Any evidence of the distance to the Sun?
No.
No.
Any evidence of a valid hypothesis in the entire history of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No. Not scientific.
That would be a different one. Well, they will say yes, and then they will point to computer models, and then they will claim that since we are not able to recreate the environment of outer space, and since we're not able to get there ourselves, we do the next best thing, which is construct a virtual representation of it inside a computer, and we play with that. So please accept this as science, is a silent request that I hear following this declaration.
Their models don't work either. Just look at Make West gas pressure without a container model.
Did you not watch the video Anthony did?
It's a substitute.
Hang on. Did you not
Is that
watch the
me you're asking?
Did you not watch the video Anthony did?
No, I heard it just now. I heard the audio.
Okay,
I
so
think it was pretty
they
good.
did build that vacuum chamber in Ohio closest they can get to their outer space, and they had to build a container with 8-foot walls, fully reinforced with aluminum shell inside, with doors weighing 5 million pounds each. So they're telling us right there that you need a container. So I don't know what that reference is that they haven't tried, because when they try, they prove you need a container.
Oh, sure. I was only addressing the last of the housekeeping questions and
No, but
mentioning
you
that
said
what I get regarding that question is that since we cannot go there, and since we cannot really recreate the conditions that we assume hold in the place that we call outer space, then we do the next best thing, they will say, which is recreate those initial conditions in a computer model and allow this to run for a long time, iterating again and again the equations of motion, and I think, but don't quote me on that, radiation behavior, like how radiation is supposed to be behaving in the vacuum. And then they observe the results and they compare those to data, they will say, that comes from magic space machines, for lack of a better description, that,
I heard what you
that they
said.
believe are true.
I heard what you said, and you're right. But they did build a physical to that model. It's called the Sandusky vacuum chamber in Ohio. They actually built it to a smaller scale, not even 10 to the minus 17 torr.
Sounds interesting. I am going to check it out. Sandusky, you said?
Yeah, just go to Sleeping Warriors channel, watch the video, and do the background research on NASA's vacuum chamber on Earth.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Yeah. Radius of what?
Presupposed spherical Earth.
Oh dear. Yeah. No, that's not gonna work.
Does it count if they give you a R value and then put it in a magical calculator? Does that count?
No, that would still be a presupposition, wouldn't it now?
Or proof of the application.
I don't need to know that it's being utilised. Need to see some actual measurements or some proof that we have a justification for this spherical presupposition beyond the presupposition itself. In other words, don't just present the presupposition and go, well, there you go, we all presuppose it. Yeah, we know.
How about on top of what Chocolate said, R value with fisheye lens pictures of Earth?
So you're saying that math isn't science?
No, it isn't. They're very different.
No, it's not. Are you saying math is science?
No, it isn't.
So this says is...
Cares what this guy says. It's not. They're different things.
Wait a minute. They be teaching.
Maths is a language that can describe things. Science explains things. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container for the gas to press upon to be gas pressure for all the fundamentalist religious zealots that believe the sky is a vacuum called outer space?
Just walk outside.
Yeah, then we'd experience gas pressure, indicating the necessary antecedent of a container, Arwin. So that would be our argument, not theirs.
But I thought I had
How
such
about
a good argument.
how about if someone blows on their microphone? They blow some air on their microphone. Does that prove gas pressure without a container?
No, the gas pressure in the first instance would need to be in play for someone to fill their container, lungs, with that gas pressure that was pre-existing. Our question would be, where would you get the gas pressure from in the first place if it's alleged the sky is a vacuum, an area for entropy to increase, for the gas to disperse into, a volume that the gas could occupy, but according to special pleading and fundamentalist religious belief, it doesn't, violating natural law, gas law, second law of thermodynamics, Boyle's law, the list goes on.
And then after blowing on the microphone, being asked, where is the gas pressure that you just exhaled? Oh, it escaped. Oh, it escaped. Oh, okay. Thanks. That's our whole point. Right.
I think that's it. That concludes the housekeeping.
I want to touch on something real quick, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, I guess.
Right, so I got an email a few days ago from YouTube, and it says here, terminations of YouTube for service changes. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of service to you is no longer commercially viable. So what this means is that as of December 10th, YouTube is going to change its terms of service. So if your channel is not commercially viable, as in it's not earning them any money, you're not monetized, they're going to delete your channel. And two things can happen here, because as we know, they're clearly trying to censor Flat Earth. So YouTube has the power to demonetize any channel they want to on the basis that the content violates their terms of service. So once they do that to you and you no longer have a monetized channel, they can use their new rules to completely remove your channel. So we can see that they're doing everything they can to get Flat Earth off of YouTube. We saw it with the algorithm thing they did, where whenever you search for Flat Earth, all you get is the malicious and hateful videos made by the trolls out there. And now that they've seen that that's not working, because we're still having discussions, we're still managing to get new people looking at this topic, they've decided that they're just going to completely get rid of us. So we're going to be censored. Censorship is here, and we need to figure out what we're going to do about that. Like, are we going to create another platform that we can stream off of? Are we going to have to create a website where content creators can post their videos onto without worrying about violating any terms of service? What's going to happen now? Because it seems as though like that we're going to completely get censored off of YouTube.
I don't know if you're looking to me for answers. I don't know what to say to that. Obviously, I was aware of it.
You weren't aware of this?
No, I was aware of it.
It normally goes
right.
this way,
What are
right?
your thoughts on this? I mean, I just... like a million people talking right now.
Yeah, I think that answers your question. That abrupt silence.
No, I said it normally goes this way. This is
I would say my question again would be why, if this topic is so stupid and so silly, why all the censorship behind it? I don't understand.
Exactly. Yeah, like why are they doing this? This
Like,
is proof that
why is
we're onto something.
YouTube not getting shut down for, Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster and UFOs? Why all of a sudden flat Earth is a thing, and now we have to do all these terms of service changes and congressional meetings talking about flat Earth that it has to be shut down? I mean, ballers, what's going on here?
I don't think it just applies to flat Earth. It could apply to vaccines. It could apply to
Yeah,
geoengineering.
sure.
It applies to all the things they want you to not know about.
I was just gonna say that it's not just flat Earth that's being targeted. I used to be subscribed to a lot of naturopath channels where they discuss natural medicine, and all of them are gone right now. It's like Google and YouTube are under draconian law, and all they want to put out is government propaganda. So it's like anything that isn't government propaganda is going to be removed off of Google search results and YouTube.
Right. I think maybe
before it was even the natural, those types of channels. Before it was the channels disappearing, it was those actual people starting to disappear and weird things happening to all these natural doctors and healers out there.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, man, it's crazy.
I like the Dr. Sebis. Well, I guess the difference is with us guys, we're such a huge community that they can't target like specific individuals like they did before. So the only thing they can do is censorship.
Yep. And look, this may be leading to YouTube trying to become the CNN of the internet. That may be the move they're trying to make, using their huge background and weight and all the money and all the connections to try to turn it into that, into a weaponized corporation to take that corner of the internet.
It already has become like that. Even Facebook only puts out government propaganda. Instagram's the same. And now YouTube's going to be like that.
So what does that tell you all?
It's just gonna die. That's what it tells me. Look, CNN gets huge money influx, and it's dying because
that's not
nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody wants to see total nonsense.
It's not.
You're actually wrong, Arwen. The zombies in society love government propaganda. We know this just based on the Globers that we deal with on a regular basis. So there are people that actually love government propaganda.
If for 1 minute,
I'll agree with you there, man.
I'd like to make a point here if I can. If at one point you think that there hasn't been enough give and take evidence that you've seen for yourself. These are not private enterprises looking to make a buck. These are all government entities disguised as private enterprises to have eventual control of everything.
Yeah.
All of it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. All of these are CIA, deep state, whatever you want to label it. They do not act like private enterprises. If they were acting like private enterprises, they wouldn't have all these controls.
Right.
And as much as people want to act like this subject doesn't bother them, these Globers being in these chats every day, like I just looked real quick, like people like Nick, right? People like, what's his name? Lori. All these fools that are in here every day, religiously, right? Almost like it's church for you guys. But you guys hate this topic. You hate this subject. You hate speaking about it. You think it's ridiculous. But yet you're here every day. Do you guys not realize that that makes it look a little bit suspect? That you're negating the fact that you say it's not important by being here every day. You can say, yeah, it's funny. We're funny to you. You're putting your time into this every day, and it's very noticeable, and it's very sad, to be honest with you. So it's almost like you guys know,
I think,
but you have. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, in all honesty, Chocolate, I think that all of these Globers that we see in the chats are not really Globers. I think they're flat earthers. Because, I mean, if all you do is watch flat earth content every single day, then you're not a Glober, you're a flat earther. And these guys watch more flat earth than we do.
Yeah, but they don't watch it. They're just trying to fish for some desperate, unique opportunity to reinforce their belief. They're not actually looking. If they would, then they could actually at some point answer our questions, which they never can, despite us asking them hundreds of times over the time span of years. So yeah, they watch it a lot. They don't actually look. They're not actually reading.
I'm
They're
starting
just
to think that some of
digging.
these guys are actually sent here or paid to be here.
I mean, when you got a guy like Nick who's in the chat typing, "Oh, everybody's mad at my high IQ," it's like, bro, who are you kidding? Do you think anybody cares about you and your stupid IQ in here, man? Like, and not just you. I'm not trying to target you, man, but it's like, come on, guys. What? I just don't get it. Why are you guys not watching Star Wars somewhere and playing with your lightsabers? What are you doing listening to Flat Earth channels for? Why? I don't get it. Go play with your lightsabers, man. What's going on? Oh, is this important to you? Oh, is that what it is? Do you need to follow it? Do you need to understand where this is going? Meanwhile, a year ago, you guys were in here talking about, oh, Flat Earth is dying. Flat Earth is dying. Didn't think a year later, right? You'd still be in a Flat Earth chat, still on Flat Earth debates, still talking shit from the chat. This is pathetic.
Yeah,
I remember
I'm
them
done now.
saying Flat Earth is dying 5 years ago in chat.
Don't give them
Or even-
too much credit, because they're probably living in their parents' basement and having a virtual persona that's not real to who they really are.
Maybe.
I think
Maybe.
they're also trying
Or
to
maybe
target
it is really
newcomers.
adults that have a secret double life as a Glober troll. Who knows?
That could
Who
be
cares?
it.
Who cares? Why
I
are we
also
speculating
think
about
they're
this?
trying to target newcomers.
How do you know this? You can't divine people's motivation, and speculation about paid chivalry to me is just conspiratard nonsense. You know, back when I first came across this subject, there was nonsense like Mandela effect and clone centers and all sorts of other complete bullshit that was surrounding this subject. Now, there's obviously new bullshit that surrounds the subject these days, but we attack that just as much, don't we? So to descend into the level of conspiratard, paid shills, people's motivation for chat trolling, no, they're deeply invested in their religious belief. I don't know why it's so... We say it daily, they're religious zealots. Look up zealot. That's what they are. It's nothing to do with being paid. They're outraged that we would ever challenge their religion. That's all this is. Shout out to Agent Dubsky for hitting the super chat. It says, until censorship ends, the textbook change. Have I said that right? Until censorship ends and the textbook change.
Changes.
Textbooks change. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate support, Agent Dubsky.
Virus says in chat that they're here to learn and laugh, but we're the ones laughing about changing your pants and not leaving them.
Bottom line is we're debating the nature of reality here, as opposed to speculating about, let's pick a few things, ice walls, domes, what else we got, 2,000 miles sunshine, balls of light that circle us. What else don't we speculate about? Scientific evidence of Earth spin based on optical gyroscopes. All this kind of bullshit we take to the woodshed. All flat Earth assertions. We take as much flat Earth crap to the woodshed as we do globe Earth half the time. Well, that's not true. It's 90% globe bullshit, let's be honest. But you know what I mean. We take as much nonsense to the woodshed on both sides to demonstrate that we're only here interested in one thing. The actual nature of our reality. That's what we're interested in.
Exactly. I think in the past
The really
5 years,
is level.
Yeah, sorry, Babs.
I think
exactly.
like
Chocolate.
5 years ago, when this first came out, people weren't that aware about what pseudoscience was or what the scientific method was. So we saw a lot more people just making declarations without, following the scientific method. But now that we know better and we actually know what pseudoscience is, we've moved away from making declarations without experimentation.
Yeah, but further to that, only because you said it originally, Babs, we've moved away from the conspiratard subjects, the speculation about jet planes not using any fuel, trees being mountains, all this kind of horse crap that goes in or alongside this subject matter. Well, I'm not interested in any of it.
I am, people.
I
so
realise
if
that,
anyone
Arwin.
wants to talk about that, just come to the early bird show an hour before.
That's why you're a valued member of the team, because you have a different viewpoint, Arwin. It would be very boring if it was just me going, no, I'm only interested in everything on the really is level. You've got to have somebody who's more speculative. You don't make progress without speculation. I'm never going to deny the good nature of speculation. And you're quite overt about declaring what you speculate about, which I love. So I'm not going to knock that, Arwin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when your speculation leads you to the kind of bold assertions to say that trees are mountains or planes don't run with jet fuel, that kind of crap, or water isn't H2O.
You forgot one. How about gravity is electrostatics?
The list goes on. We're only interested in the really is level. Your speculation you can keep, and if it's claimed to be science with your declarations based on absurdity, then we're going to pull those apart pretty quick, is all I'm trying to say here. Doesn't matter which side of the argument it comes from.
Yep. It's a small panel today, by the way. Where is everyone?
I don't know.
They're out there speculating.
Only people in Discord. I've been monitoring people's mute though, so if people have come in recently, I haven't taken you off mute, I'm afraid. Yeah, there is a few. Someone's just super chatted. I'll just get these guys off mute. Oh, there's only one. No, everyone's pretty much off mute.
Well, that clip of Kaku, Micho Kaku, I can't pronounce that guy's name ever.
Me neither.
Anyway, he said, and I think Chocolate's got it down. Seat of the pants. Michio Kaku. What does he say? Seat of the pants and what other jargon?
Pretty much paraphrasing. Nobody in my field knows or uses the scientific method. For us, it's the seat of our pants. It's guesswork. It's leaps of logic was my favorite one.
I love it. You're even quoting the ers, and slight miswording of things, the telling miswording of we don't know use the scientific method. I love it, Chocolate.
Yep, I got that.
You got all the ums and ers as well, all the little phrasings, all the gaps. Perfect. I love it. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny. That's the same guy that says that cosmology or science has cosmology wrong by a factor of 10 to the 120 of power.
Amazing.
So, I mean, I don't know. Is Michio Kaku a flat earther or what? I mean, what's he doing, guys? He's running around saying theoretical physicists don't do anything with scientific method. He's saying science has cosmology wrong all over the place with 10 with 120 zeros after it. I mean, then you guys come in here and say the science
he's a
is
flat
settled?
earther.
Isn't it just another example of accidental honesty?
Yes, it is. I mean, he's a heliocentrist through and through, but the reality of our world is such that that is the mainstream narrative. The religion of heliocentrism is the prevailing religion, and it's abided by the elites. It's promoted by the media, and we are standing in opposition to what they claim and make plain as pseudoscience. No, it's not science. No, it's just theory, colloquial theory, mystic meg theory, guesswork. They're making it overt. So I'm not too concerned in regards to this censorship thing. What are we talking about here? We're talking about people adhering to the scientific method, providing scientific validity for their assertions, and we're winning. Now, if they overtly censor that, all that will happen is the Streisand effect will kick in. People will go, well, why does it need censoring? Like you say, if it's been declared quite overtly also as being worthy of ridicule, and suddenly it needs shutting down, people are going to raise an eyebrow, more so than they already are. And it's already enough eyebrows being raised, right? So it's got to be played reasonably carefully. But on the other hand, there's plenty of... I'm not suggesting this. Don't take this the wrong way if you're a flat earther and watching this. I watch a lot of shite get spouted by flat earthers. And you watch it and go, oh, God, please don't be representing me. I appreciate that the world is obviously and observably flat, but I don't go along with this complete tripe that you're spouting on your channel. So not that I'm in any way implying that...
who you are.
I'm not in any way
who you are out there.
Yeah, you know who you are. But I'm not implying in any way that anybody requires censoring for their views on anything. No, far from it. If I don't like something, I'll just turn off, unsubscribe. If I'm really pissed off about it, I might leave a comment, because that'll change the world. But my point is that there's plenty of things that annoy me in the realm of flat earth where people spout complete nonsense. But yeah, does it need censoring? No, that's not reasonable. But censoring people like us, if we got censored, yeah, there'd be some... I'd assume there'd be a few people having something to say about it on account of the fact that what we are actually discussing is the genuine nature of reality based on what we were taught at school in terms of the scientific method. That's not unreasonable if you ask me, so I'm not too concerned. Shout out to MC Universe Sacred Truth Keeper, who says... What is Devil's Tower? Oh, here we go. It's the remains of an ancient giant tree chopped down by ancient... Oh, I can't read it. My kid's toy's in the way. Breakaway civilization and used for all its resources. What a lovely fairy tale.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat.
Well, leaps of logic and seat of the pants. And we're saying, no, use your brain.
Guesswork.
And have the empirical method working. And they want guesswork. Seat of our pants? Are they thinking from their rear end or what?
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, then you got the newer one where Miss Astrophysicist, expert on exoplanets, completely denies new information, completely makes herself look, what's the word? Just dishonest, I guess I could say, and just not knowledgeable in this supposed science of this supposed ball, because she's an expert at exoplanets. Does I have any idea where the atmosphere starts, where it stops?
Well, Chocolate, you bring up a good point, because they're living in the pseudo-Riemannian force space math world that doesn't exist. So she's a proponent for that. So she is living in this alternative reality that she's got in her brain of pseudo-Riemannian force space. So everything she talks about relates to that, which doesn't exist.
But it's sad because this is a lady that's running around giving lectures and TED Talks and nonsense like this. And if you listen to this interview, it just makes her look ridiculous. Like, I've heard better responses from some of the Globers for some of this crap than what she said. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And when she realized that she was talking to a flat earther and he's asking her about curvature that apparently she knows nothing about, oh, it's time to shut down the interview.
No, that's not what she
It's now
said.
time to ask for your credentials.
Exactly. That was quite poignant, I felt. So it wasn't, oh, well, that means that your, conversation's over. It's, I should have asked for your credentials. Are you part of this club I'm in or not? Now, if you don't have the credentials, you're not on the same wavelength as me because you're not towing the same line as me. You're not speaking the same language as me. You don't have the same religion as me. So I should have checked that we had the same religion before we had this conversation, was essentially what she said by asking for his credentials.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even before that, right, when he was asking her, I believe it was about people being able to see the moon in Florida and Australia at the same time. And he asked her, how is that happening? And she says, well, I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe it's something that happens once or twice a year. He said, no, that happens every day. Pretty much all the time. And she had no problem saying, oh, well, the model is wrong. Right? Those were her words in that interview when she said that. When he said, well, the model
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why Neil deGrasse Tyson will not debate any flat earther because he knows it's not the same club.
Well, my point of saying that is it was okay then at that point in the interview, because I think that was like mid-interview. So it was okay at that point to say that the model was wrong because you thought the person you're speaking to is on the same model, right? But at the end, when you realize this person is not on the same wavelength as I am, oh, now it's not the model is wrong. Now it's you need to take this information to get peer reviewed because I won't look at it. Her words, I won't look at this. There's plenty of you can peer review it. And he said, well, if I try to take this to get peer reviewed, it's going to get shut down, because they don't want this new information out there. Exactly what she did. She shut it down, said, I don't want to see it. Go take it somewhere else. What are your credentials? I'm done with this interview. So way to go for astrophysicists and mainstream bullshit pseudoscience.
That says it all. We're talking here not about peer review, but about the empiricism that the scientific method offers. We're not interested in peer review. It's not part of the process. Systematic experimentation validating scientific predictions, otherwise known as hypothesis. That's what science is, not peer review. So like we give a toss about her peer review process, I don't care if we appeal to her and her religion and whether or not we're working our way through the cracks of her system in her religion. It matters not. Scientific evidence. That's what we're asking for, not peer review. Couldn't care less if it's been peer reviewed, if it's gone through the old boy network. I couldn't give a toss. Doesn't make what's being said empirical. Science does. Sorry, Arwen. Shout out to Julio Pabon. What interview is that so I can look it up? So it's on Wakey's channel. So it's Mark Knight is the channel owner. Channel name is Wakey, Waki, Wakey. So go and check it out.
Yeah. Now I lost my point.
I'm sorry, Arwen.
Hey.
We were talking about peer review, if that helps.
No, I completely lost it.
Another super chat. Sorry, Arwen. Is it Equalizer? When they outlaw flat Earth, it will only make us cooler. Yeah, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much for the support. Again, cool factor. I don't care. Not really interested. Don't care if it's cool or not. Again, it sounds really selfish, but I'm not really concerned if anybody comes here and changes their mind. As much as it's great when someone says, oh, you've changed my viewpoint, I've opened my eyes to reality. It's like, well, good for you. But it's sort of a bit more selfish for me. It's like, well, I appreciate the nature of the reality that I'm surrounded by a bit more than I did a few years ago. I was quite in tune with the nature of reality because I'd spent a lot of time looking at it, like I've described in interviews where I'm out on my planes doing my repping jobs and out there looking at what the world looked like. So, you know, I felt reasonably in tune. I liked looking up at the stars and all those sorts of things well before Flat Earth came along. So finding out that the feeling I had that things weren't quite right was just affirmed by somebody pointing out that it's not actually a globe in a vacuum. That's not possible. Well, then you just have I have a greater appreciation, not you. I have a greater appreciation of the world that surrounds me. And that's very nice for me. On the other hand, if people come along and go, I disagree. All right. Okay. Well, why do you disagree? Tell me all about it. That's fascinating. Let's hear if you can convince me otherwise, because that's never going to happen as far as I'm concerned, not through zealotry, just because there's been no convincing evidence, only the destruction of what I used to hold as evidence for a sphere Earth. Well, now that that's gone, the world seems more appealing, it seems more exciting, it seems more magical to not know, rather than just go along with a narrative you've never confirmed yourself. So it's just a nice place to be, in my opinion, but converting others, if people come here and go away going, I don't care, I think you're all bonkers because you say the Earth is obviously and observably flat. It's like, well, fair enough, good for you. If you think we're bonkers, go about your merry way. It's no skin off my teeth. Literally, if you go away from the show going, I still believe it's a ball, they tell us so on the news. Well, okay, good for you. If you want to take that as your evidence, you watch NASA and think that's all real, it's not on a stage, then fair enough, good for you. Shout out to Dave Rakia Gafford, who says, wow, it's getting too easy. Show people the truth and sit back and enjoy Rakia life. God is good. Really appreciate your support, David Rakia Gafford. Really appreciate it.
Sorry. Got the mute.
I'm on mute. So if you're in the live audience at about 7 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, QE's doing a show. He's done a few re-releases of Ballbusters and alike that are covering evolution, but he's got a brand new presentation that's going to go out live today on Quantum Eraser channel. So be here or be sphere, 1 p.m. UK, 7 p.m. US Central Standard Time. I believe it's myself, Sleeping Warrior, Betty, and Quantum Eraser. Could be wrong, might be other panel members, but as far as I'm aware, that's the people on the panel tonight on the Quantum Eraser channel. So check it out. Right, any ballers in the Discord panel, come off mute, share your pain. We're here to help. We appreciate there's a lot of depression in the Globehead community. Hey, Quantum Eraser, good to have you.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
No, too early for beer. You know that's where that came from, right? Beer commercial.
Budweiser, isn't it?
Yep.
No, I didn't have any idea.
Isn't it hysterical?
He wasn't here in the 90s. He time traveled.
I love the wasabi. Wasabi. I love that one. So wrong. Glorious.
Been a good couple of weeks, Quantum Eraser, of us asking for any evidence of a viable scientific hypothesis from any of the fields of cosmology, astrophysics, or astronomy. It's a good solid couple of weeks, wouldn't you agree, of that question being asked?
Yes.
Absolutely nothing. No one's even offered anything. The guy, did you watch Sleeping Warriors video? I played it at the beginning of this show.
I didn't see it. I just got up.
Who's the guy you had a discussion with on email back in 2016, I believe?
Dr. Danny Faulkner.
Yeah, same guy. So Quantum Eraser didn't get a mention, but Sleeping Warrior called him out for an answer regarding how you can have gas pressure without a container. and I was correct in my earlier assertions to you watching live. Quantum Racer had a back and forth with that very same chap back in 2016 in regards to this subject matter, the nature of our reality, the lies of heliocentrism, and he got took to the woodshed.
Is that recorded?
Email.
Oh,
no,
email.
but it's on text.
Love to see
And
it.
I got text.
I would love to see it.
It's pretty long.
I would love to see it.
You would be shocked not only at his answers, but you'd be shocked at the questions, because that was, I think it started in June 15th. That was like 2.5 weeks after I got out here as a flat earther. You'd be shocked at the questions.
So Dave Rakia Gafford super chats and says something like, gullible and ignorant. I can super chat all day. God has blessed me, Rakia life. Well, I really appreciate your support, I'm not going to lie. Thank you very much indeed for the super chats, Dave Rakia Gafford.
Stay on mute. Hey, before you close out, Nathan, shameless plug.
Already done it. I've just shamelessly plugged you like 2 minutes ago.
Really? For the show today?
Yeah. You can do it again.
I missed it. Thanks, man.
Go ahead. Give it another go.
Today at 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 7 p.m. UK, Fairy Tale Evolution Part 2. Be here or be sphere.
Where's here?
Quantum Eraser channel, baby.
Perfect. And with that, I'll say, if you are watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Oh, it looks like there's been another super chat. So another shout out to David Rakia Gafford. He says, and all night too, I'm on moot. And so shout you be, I can't read with my studio lights on, I'm really sorry. I don't like QE. Wait, QE is okay. Rakia life. Okay, thank you very much indeed for that super chat. Really appreciate the support once again, Dave Rakia Gafford. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream on Nathan Oakley channel. Another massive thank you to all of today's debating panel, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!